Seduction isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself with grand gestures or dramatic entrances. It doesn't walk into a room and steal the spotlight. Instead, it operates in the shadows, weaving its way through the smallest, most fleeting moments. It's a glance that lingers a second too long, making the air feel charged with something unspoken. It's a touch so subtle, you find yourself wondering if it even happened, or if your mind is just playing tricks on you. It's a whispered, "What if?" a playful suggestion that seems innocent enough but lingers in your thoughts long after the conversation ends. And yet, most men never realize when it's happening. Because seduction isn't about obvious flirtation. It's about subtlety. It's about creating tension, about making you feel something without ever saying it outright. And the truth is, women have perfected this art for centuries. They don't need to declare their interest in words. They make you sense it. They make you question it. They make you wonder if you're imagining things, if there's something more beneath the surface. But here's the problem: if you don't know what to look for, you'll miss the signs entirely. And that's exactly why we're here today. Let's break it down. Here are 8 subtle but undeniable signs that a woman is trying to seduce you, whether you realize it or not. Sign 1. Her eyes linger a little too long. They say the eyes are the window to the soul, but when it comes to attraction, they are much more than that. They are a secret language, a silent conversation that happens before a single word is spoken. A woman's gaze is powerful. It can be warm and inviting, or distant and indifferent, but when she's trying to seduce you, her eyes take on a different role. They become the bait, the hook, and the pull all at once. Not all eye contact is created equal. Casual eye contact is just that, casual. It's fleeting, unintentional, forgettable, but seductive eye contact, that's something else entirely. She locks onto you and holds your gaze for just a second too long, long enough for you to notice, long enough for you to wonder if it meant something. When she finally looks away, it's not abrupt, it's slow, deliberate, like she's savoring the moment, letting the tension linger. And if she keeps catching your eye from across the room, then suddenly looking away, only to glance back again, she's creating an invisible thread between you, making it feel like the rest of the world is fading into the background. This isn't just coincidence, it's psychology. Studies show that prolonged eye contact triggers the release of phenylethylamine, P, a neurochemical linked to feelings of infatuation and excitement. This is the same chemical that surges when you first fall for someone. The same one responsible for the dizzying rush of attraction. Ever locked eyes with someone and felt a sudden, unexplainable pull, a feeling that was impossible to ignore, like something magnetic was drawing you in? That's not just attraction, that's chemistry at work. And here's where it gets even more interesting. A woman who understands this, whether consciously or instinctively, knows exactly what she's doing. If she combines a prolonged gaze with a slight smirk, she's inviting you into the game. If she lowers her eyes briefly, then looks back up at you, she's testing your reaction, seeing if you'll take the bait. If she looks at you, then to your lips, then back to your eyes, she's subtly hinting at something more. The eyes don't lie. They are one of the oldest tools of seduction, and one of the most effective. So the next time a woman holds your gaze just a little longer than expected, don't ignore it, because in the world of attraction, nothing is ever accidental. Sign 2. Accidental touch that's never accidental. Seduction isn't about words, it's about tension. The kind of tension that lingers in the air, unspoken but undeniable, and one of the most powerful ways to create that tension: touch. A brush of her fingers against yours, a hand resting on your arm just a moment too long, the warmth of her knee pressing against yours under the table. Most men dismiss these moments as accidents. They convince themselves that it was just coincidence, a simple mistake, nothing worth reading into. But let me ask you this: how often do you accidentally touch someone you have no interest in? Exactly. The truth is, physical touch is never truly accidental, especially not in the game of seduction. Here's why. Touch releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It builds emotional connection, lowers defenses, and makes you subconsciously crave more of her presence without even understanding why. It's why a simple touch can send a shiver down your spine. Why an innocent brush of the hand can suddenly feel electric. And a woman who understands this, whether consciously or instinctively, knows exactly what she's doing. If she touches you more than she touches anyone else in the same room, it's deliberate. If she finds excuses to fix your shirt, adjust your collar, or brush something off your shoulder, she's not just being helpful, she's testing your reaction. If she playfully hits your arm when she laughs, she's doing more than just joking around, she's establishing a subtle physical connection. And here's something even more interesting, it's not just about the touch itself, but about what happens after. Does she let her hand linger for just a second longer than necessary? Does she make eye contact immediately after, gauging your response? Does she smile slightly, as if daring you to notice? Because when a woman is truly trying to seduce you, it's never just the touch, it's the anticipation, the tension, the unspoken invitation that follows. And that's exactly why touch is so powerful. It's not about what happens in the moment, it's about the way it makes you think about her long after it happens. So the next time a woman accidentally touches you, don't brush it off. Ask yourself, was that really an accident? Or was that her way of pulling you in without saying a single word? Sign 3. Her voice becomes softer, slower, and more intimate. Most men assume that attraction is all about looks, the way she dresses, the way she moves, the way she carries herself. But they're missing something. One of the most powerful tools of seduction isn't what you see. It's what you hear. A woman's voice is more than just sound. It's a subtle spell, a quiet lure, an invisible thread that pulls you in without you even realizing it. And here's the thing, she knows this instinctively. Watch what happens when she speaks to someone she's indifferent to. Her voice is normal, neutral, casual, effortless, but when she's talking to someone she's attracted to, everything changes. Her voice drops slightly, becoming softer, lower, more intimate, almost as if she's drawing you into a private conversation. Even in a crowded room, she slows down her words, letting them linger in the air just a little longer, making you hang on to every syllable. She speaks in a way that forces you to lean in, to listen more closely, to close the distance between you without even thinking about it. And here's where it gets even more interesting. This isn't just a habit. It's science. Studies in human psychology show that women naturally lower their voices when talking to someone they find attractive. A deeper, softer tone is perceived as more alluring, more seductive, drawing the listener in, making the interaction feel more personal, more intense. But that's not all. If she's truly drawn to you, something else happens, something even more subtle, yet incredibly powerful. She starts mirroring your voice. This is called vocal mirroring, an unconscious behavior that people exhibit when they feel a strong emotional connection with someone. If you speak slower, she slows down too. If your tone is deeper, hers softens to match it. If you laugh, she laughs just a second later, in the same rhythm. Why? Because mirroring is the body's way of saying, I feel connected to you. It's an unspoken signal that she's tuned into your presence, that she's absorbing your energy, that she's subtly aligning herself with you. And here's the real secret, if she whispers, you're already in deep. Because a whisper is an invitation. It's a way of making you come closer, of creating intimacy in an instant. It's not about what she's saying, it's about what it makes you feel. So the next time a woman speaks to you, don't just listen to her words, pay attention to the way she says them. Because in the game of attraction, her voice might be telling you more than you realize. Sign 4. Playing with her lips and hair, the subtle art of drawing you in. A woman's lips and hair aren't just features, they're instruments of seduction. And trust me, she knows exactly how to use them. They are among her most powerful tools, not because they speak, but because they silently demand your attention. They draw your gaze without a single word, pulling you into a moment that feels effortless yet entirely deliberate. If a woman is trying to seduce you, she won't say it outright. Instead, she'll use subtle, subconscious gestures to make sure you can't look away. Watch for these small but telling behaviors. Lip biting or touching. This is one of the most primal and subconscious signs of attraction. A woman who bites or lightly touches her lips isn't just fidgeting, it's a silent way of drawing attention to her mouth. It's an unspoken invitation, a flicker of anticipation that makes you wonder what it would be like to close the space between you. Running her fingers through her hair, this isn't just a random habit. It's a biological instinct. Studies show that when a woman is around someone she finds attractive, she unconsciously enhances her feminine features, brushing her hair to one side, twisting a strand around her finger, or slowly running her fingers through it. These are subtle ways of making herself look more appealing while simultaneously drawing your attention to her. Slowly applying lip balm or lipstick in front of you. Have you ever noticed how mesmerizing it is when a woman carefully applies lipstick? Especially if she does it while holding eye contact. That's not an accident. She's testing you. She's subtly commanding your focus, making sure your eyes are on her lips, planting a thought in your mind before you even realize what's happening. The psychology behind it. This isn't just casual behavior, it's deeply rooted in human psychology. Studies suggest that women instinctively emphasize their most visually striking, feminine traits when they're interested in someone. Lips, hair, and neck movements are all subconscious mating signals, meant to make them appear more attractive and inviting. But here's what makes it even more interesting: if she notices you noticing, and she keeps doing it, that's her way of escalating the game. If she bites her lip and holds your gaze, she's testing how you'll react. If she flips her hair and subtly exposes her neck, she's signaling vulnerability and trust, a primal sign of attraction. If she applies lip gloss and then smiles as if waiting for you to comment, she's setting the stage for flirtation. Everything she's doing is intentional, even if she's not fully aware of it herself. And that's what makes it so powerful. So the next time you see these signs, don't ignore them. Because if she's playing with her lips and hair while looking at you, it's not just a habit, it's an invitation. Sign 5, she closes the distance, the silent invitation. Proximity matters. We all have an invisible personal space bubble, a protective zone we instinctively maintain around ourselves. With strangers, it stays large. With acquaintances, it shrinks slightly, but when attraction is involved, that bubble disappears. A woman who's trying to seduce you won't always use words. Instead, she'll let her presence do the talking. She stands closer to you than necessary, even in a crowded room, subtly closing the gap between you. She leans in when she speaks, lowering her voice, making it feel as if you're in a conversation meant for just the two of you. She positions herself strategically, so that even the smallest movement, a turn of your body, a shift in your seat, causes accidental contact. And here's the thing, she's waiting to see what you'll do next. If you pull away, she'll take it as a sign that you're not interested. But if you don't, that's her green light to go further. The psychology of distance and attraction. This isn't just flirting, it's biological. Research in human psychology shows that our comfort zone for personal space is about 18 inches in casual interactions. But when two people are attracted to each other, that distance shortens drastically. Why? Because proximity breeds intimacy. When a woman moves into your space, she's doing something primal. She's testing how you respond to her presence. She's inviting you to notice her, to feel the tension between you, to become hyper-aware of how close she is. And if she combines it with other subtle signals, like lightly touching your arm or holding eye contact while speaking, she's making it even clearer. The power of nearness. Some of the most powerful moments in attraction happen in silence, in those seconds where the air between two people feels charged. If she leans in close while speaking, letting her breath graze your skin, she's creating intimacy without ever touching you. If she stands so close that your hands or arms almost, but not quite, touch, she's building anticipation, waiting to see if you'll close the final gap. If she angles her body toward you while the rest of the room fades away, she's making it clear that you have her full attention. And here's where it gets even more interesting. If she moves closer and you instinctively match her movement, she knows she has you. Because seduction isn't just about physical touch. It's about making you want to touch her. So the next time a woman stands close to you, don't just brush it off. Ask yourself, would she stand this close to just anyone? If the answer is no, then she's already pulling you in. Sign 6. Compliments that feel different, more than just words. Anyone can say, "Nice shirt." It's polite, casual, forgettable. But a woman who's trying to seduce you, she doesn't just compliment you, she makes it personal. She doesn't just say, "You smell nice." She says, "I love the way you smell." She doesn't just say, "You have nice arms." She says, "I love how strong your arms feel." She doesn't just say, "You're funny." She says, "I love the way you make me laugh." See the difference? She's not simply acknowledging your qualities, she's making them about her experience of you. Her words are laced with emotion, attachment, and desire. She's planting a thought in your mind, linking the way she feels to your presence. And once she does that, she knows she has you. The psychology behind seductive compliments. This isn't just flirtation, it's psychology. When a woman personalizes her compliments, she's engaging in emotional imprinting, a subtle but powerful way of making sure that when you think of her, you feel something. Because a simple compliment fades. But a compliment tied to an emotion, that sticks. Think about it. If someone tells you, "You're smart," you might appreciate it. But if someone says, "I love the way your mind works," it's so different from anyone I've ever met. What happens? You remember it, you internalize it, you start seeing yourself through their eyes. And that's exactly what she's doing. She's making you feel special. More than just words, it's a subtle invitation. Here's what makes seductive compliments even more powerful: they are never just words. If she lowers her voice slightly while saying it, she's making the moment feel more intimate. If she touches your arm or shoulder right after, she's reinforcing the physical connection. If she looks you in the eyes and smiles, she's making sure the moment lingers. She's not just saying she likes something about you, she's making you want to experience more of that feeling with her. And here's the real secret. If she compliments something most people wouldn't even notice about you, the way you think, the way you move, the way your voice sounds when you say her name, she's already deep into the game. Because she's not just admiring you. She's making sure you admire the way she sees you. And that's how seduction works, not by telling you she wants you, but by making you want her to want you. So the next time a woman gives you a compliment that feels different, don't just hear the words, feel what's behind them. Because in the game of attraction, nothing is ever just a coincidence. Sign 7. Playful resistance, the push-pull effect. Seduction isn't a straight line, it's a dance of tension, mystery, and control. A woman who's truly seducing you won't make it too easy. Where's the fun in that? Instead, she'll play with you, tease you, and then pull back just when you think you've won her over. She might flirt with you all night, letting the tension build, but the moment you lean in, she smirks and pulls away. She might say, "I don't trust guys like you," but the way she looks at you tells a completely different story. She might act unimpressed by your charm, rolling her eyes at your jokes, but somehow, she's still there, still engaging, still keeping the conversation going. And that's the push-pull effect. She pushes you away just enough to make you want to prove yourself. Then, just when you start thinking she's losing interest, she pulls you back in with a look, a laugh, or a single touch. And the more unpredictable she is, the more hooked you become. The psychology behind the push-pull effect. This isn't accidental, it's psychological. Humans crave what feels just out of reach. When something is given too easily, we take it for granted, but when it feels like we have to earn it, we value it more. That's why some of the most unforgettable romantic connections aren't built on smooth, effortless encounters, they're built on tension, challenge, and unpredictability. A woman who understands this instinctively uses it to keep you engaged. She gives you just enough encouragement to make you want more. Then she steps back, making you question where you stand. And just when you think you've lost her, she reels you back in. It's frustrating, it's exhilarating, and it works. How to play the game without losing. Here's the key: it's not about chasing her, it's about playing along. If you react with insecurity, demanding to know where you stand, showing frustration, or acting needy, she'll lose interest. But if you match her energy, tease her back, and stay composed, the game escalates. Because now, she's not just playing with you, she's intrigued by you. She's wondering, is he playing me, or am I playing him? And that's when seduction reaches its peak, not when you win her over too easily, but when you make her want to win you over too. So the next time she flirts and then pulls away, don't fall into the trap of chasing. Instead, smirk back, tease her in return, make her work just as hard as you are. Because in the art of seduction, the real power lies with the one who knows how to play the game. Sign 8. The power of what-if scenarios, planting the seed of desire. Seduction isn't always about what's happening in the present. It's about creating possibilities. One of the most telling signs that a woman is trying to seduce you. She plants ideas in your mind before you even realize what's happening. She won't just flirt outright. She'll make you think, she'll make you wonder. And how does she do that? With simple, playful, and seemingly innocent, what-if scenarios. What if we were stranded on an island together? Who do you think would survive? What if we had met years ago? Do you think we'd have been trouble? What if we had to share a hotel room? Would you trust me? At first, these questions seem like harmless banter, but make no mistake, they are anything but random. The psychology behind what-if scenarios. This technique works because it does something incredibly powerful. It forces you to imagine her and you together in a shared situation. And the moment you do that, the moment your mind starts filling in the gaps, picturing what that might look like, she's already planted the seed. Because now, it's not just her flirting with you, it's your own thoughts working against you. Your brain doesn't distinguish between reality and vividly imagined scenarios. Once she puts an idea in your mind, your subconscious starts playing with it. It starts entertaining possibilities, building an emotional connection before anything even happens. And here's the real secret: she wouldn't be saying these things unless she had already thought about it herself. If she brings up the idea of the two of you being together in a different time or place, it means she's imagined it at least once. If she asks what it would be like if you were stuck in a scenario together, she's already entertained the thought. If she jokingly suggests something that puts the two of you in an intimate situation, She's testing your response. The subtle way she's testing you. A woman who asks, "What if?" is watching closely. She's not just playing around, she's seeing how you react. Do you play along? Do you flirt back? Do you hesitate? She's gauging your level of interest, figuring out whether you're willing to take the thought further. And here's where it gets interesting. If you pick up on her cues and escalate the scenario, the tension grows. Because now, it's not just her imagination, it's yours too. The power of planting a thought. Seduction isn't always about the moment. Sometimes, it's about what lingers in your mind long after she's gone. If a woman drops a "what if" scenario into the conversation, she's not just flirting in the present. She's leaving you with a thought that might replay in your mind later, when she's not around. And that's the mark of true seduction, not forcing attraction, but letting it take root naturally. So the next time a woman playfully asks, "What if?" pause. Because chances are, she's already thought about it, and now, she's waiting to see if you will too. Final thoughts, the art of noticing. Seduction isn't random, it's deliberate, it's calculated. Every lingering glance, every accidental touch, every playful tease and whispered "what if" is designed to do one thing: pull you in without you even realizing it. Most men go through life oblivious to these signs. They mistake tension for coincidence, chemistry for chance. But the truth, nothing in the game of attraction is accidental. A woman who's truly seducing you isn't just flirting, she's making you feel something. She's creating a subtle, intoxicating connection that builds before you even know what's happening. So the real question isn't, "Is she seducing me?" The real question is, "Am I paying attention?" Because once you start recognizing the signs, you'll see them everywhere. And when you do, you'll never look at attraction the same way again. If you found this interesting, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. Have you ever noticed these signs in real life? Let's talk.